being with us. We thank you for sending your Son. We thank you for salvation, Lord. We thank you that it is a free gift that we just need to accept, Lord. In your most holy and righteous name, amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We want to welcome Scott Gillenwaters. He's the chairman of the Anderson County School Board. Welcome.
I found another piece of paper that says volunteer.
Next is the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if we could add item 4B, judicial parking.
Okay. All right, is the maker of the motion okay with that?
Sure.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Jimmy Burge, and what he wants to do is give us a little bit of talk about right now he's got the #1 book on Amazon in his category, and it's the Evergreen Christmas Tree. He actually wants to come to full commission and do more, but this is just a preliminary, so he'll be on the agenda for Monday night. Jimmy?
Yeah, we've got it. One on the west side there, is the only one that's got fire.
Well, it's an honor to be here tonight again. I guess, first of all, before I mention the tree, Otis and I were talking about the water extension to the New River area, and I was just going to see if anybody knows if there's been any information on that yet, if that's got anywhere. I know we were trying to get a report back, or waiting on a report maybe from an engineer. Does anybody know any information on that yet, or?
Mayor, do you have anything on that?
I've only got one TV working so far, but do you want us to try to get the presentation up?
On the water line?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just looking for the email. I don't have a cost extension yet from Robert Campbell, but I do have, and I printed it off and didn't bring it up here, from Larry, that on the particular what's being proposed with the wells, the authority is committed to working with the county to extend water lines to bring high-quality, safe water to households that are in need of the service. With that said, the authority cannot own, operate, or maintain any type of private residential water treatment systems. Furthermore, if plans develop to fund water line extensions there will be water quality issues due to the length of the lines that would need to be installed with only 2 customers using it. So I'm still working with Robert to try to get a cost on that.
Robert Campbell.
Yes, yeah, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd talked to Tim about my book. It's been a while in the making, The Evergreen Christmas Tree. I wrote this story in 2008 when Scotty and myself were running the train in New River, and I wrote it as our Christmas story for the train. We weren't big enough, didn't have the funds to do the franchise one at the time that everybody was enamored with, so I wrote this story, and we didn't get to do the Christmas train, so never did go anywhere, never did do anything with it. So that was in 2008, 15 years later. I ran into somebody October of last year, 15 years to the day, and they were looking. I had a couple of independent films done at my property in New River, and so I told them about my story. Nobody didn't think much about it, and no big deal. So anyway, I met somebody looking for locations to film, somebody from California that had just recently moved to Alabama, and they wanted to come look at my property to film, and so they came and they were looking at my property, and so I told them about my Christmas story. And the lady, she fell in love with it when I was telling her the different things about the story, and so so I got everything copyrighted and NDAs and all that stuff, and I ended up, then she asked me if she could send it to K&K Production in Hollywood, California. And after NDAs and all that, we sent it to them last Thanksgiving weekend. So they emailed me back Monday after Thanksgiving and told me congratulations, they wanted my story. So the book has just come out on Amazon, and it'll be on Barnes & Noble. It's supposed to go global this week. It's going to be in 4 languages and probably end up on 50 different platforms. But it's about, just to tell you a little bit about it, but it's about a family that I grew up with in the New River community that had a big impact on my life, and a brother and sister, and they went home to be with the Lord way too early in life, but so I wrote about them. That was the only thing I could think to write about when I sat down to write this story, and so I sent that story out there, and the people that I sent it to, they're huge advocates for the deaf and disabled community. So they asked me to go back and write, put some sign language in and write about a little bit about a deaf character. So we had someone in our community that was hard of hearing, and so I went back and wrote that gentleman in, and there's some sign language that he does with the children in the book, and I've been told that I don't know that this, it's hard for me to believe this, but I've been told that this is the first Christmas book with sign language, and somebody else may know better than me, but it's hard for me to believe. But so we've got that, and when the family goes on this journey to find the perfect Christmas tree, the tree is about different lessons in life that they're going to need as they grow older. And, you know, each blemish or each thing about the tree, you know, their father explains to them this lesson in life. And when they find the tree, they dig it up. They don't cut it down. They dig it up. After Christmas, they replant it in the yard as a remembrance to a special Christmas that they had and all the lessons they were taught. So the people in California are doing a lot with some major tree organizations and about the replanting of trees. There's, if you go on our Facebook, Evergreen Christmas Tree Facebook, I don't know, Lily Tomlin's on there with one of our books, and there's some other A-list actors that are getting involved in this, and there's fixing to be an animated film and then a live film, and there's also, I'm going to be here next week, but there's curriculum fixing to go up on our website, evergreenchristmastree.com, that goes along with the book. When you purchase the book, you can purchase curriculum, and a lot of the curriculum is about things in Anderson County, and you know, the book, a lot of the rivers and hollows and different things in the book are about our great county, and so it's got a lot of push behind it. It's just starting. I've got 12 other stories that I have copyrights on that they have in California, but they've not, and they're all about places in Anderson County and people that I grew up with, and I think I've got like 58 songs and poems now, and they've got all those out there, and they're trying to figure out what to do with them and how to use them. So they're saying they're going to come here and do a live feature film, probably a year after next. I think they're going to do the animated film first, and we've got an A-list actor that's going to narrate that. So there's a lot going on with it, but I just wanted to make the commission and the mayor and everybody in the courthouse aware of what's going on. And next week, I hope to have all of y'all a book. I've ordered them if they come, they're supposed to be in this week. So I'll have everyone a book next week. But like I say, my daughter will come next week and talk some about the curriculum along. And so there's a million things going on with it. Merchandise, they say they're going to do a musical. I don't know about all that. You could probably tell me what a musical is. I didn't even know what it was when they told me that. But so they're doing, they seem real excited about it, doing a lot with it. So it just came out of nowhere. I never wrote the story to be a book or anything like that. But having a good time with it and having a good time with the songs, and hopefully maybe one day you'll get to see this on TV, hopefully, and a lot going on with it. But one of the things I wanted to kind of plant the seed is there's a lot of organizations that are purchasing the book for at-risk children or deaf children, or I can't think of the term, but so I wanted to plant the seed for the county also to maybe think if there's funds available that they could buy any of these books and put into some of the at-risk children in schools or different organizations or libraries, or send some to North Carolina, Upper East Tennessee, different opportunities. But that's kind of the short version of what I got going on. So I guess that's about it.
Anybody got any questions for Jimmy? I know I'm really proud
That's awesome.
from a very humble beginning and what he's accomplished, and for it being the #1 seller on Amazon, it speaks volumes. And then it going global. Andrews County born, New River, and Andrews County educated.
They said the next review will have the bestseller badge on the front, so the next time which will probably be in a couple of weeks, so I don't know what, they may draw straws to get that. I don't know how you qualify for that, but I don't know the number of sales, but I know a lot of people are buying it.
That's awesome.
So we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah,
Yep.
We
congrats.
have a motion to put this onto the agenda for next week. Have a second? Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Judge Bowling.
Okay, I just have a small matter to try to address. Okay, initially, it's my understanding all the judges have a parking spot behind the courthouse here, and that was put there for security purposes. But when I was first elected in 2022, I was told we also had a spot under the Jolly Building, that each of the judges had a spot there, and we were allowing our assistants to park in those spots. And the reason that I'm particularly concerned with that is because not just for security, but also for efficiency purposes, because 3 days a week, well, every other month it's on Friday, but usually 3 days a week, we have to be here, and we do arraignments at 8:30 in the morning. My assistant gets here before me, and it's a limited time slot of when she gets that information, because the jail doesn't get the information. We don't get the information over here until that morning. She's got to get all that sorted out, get all those papers filled out and everything, so that I can have them at 8:30, and we can get done with that docket before the 9 o'clock regular docket. Otherwise, it moves us way behind, and then everybody's waiting on everything, and it moves everything for the rest of the day. So for efficiency purposes, what I was asking for is if she could have a designated spot, or me have a designated spot in the Jolly Building, so that she'll have somewhere to park and can get over here and do her job before I get on the bench and can do my job. Initially, what a lot of the judges were telling me is that we had spots over there, and Judge Spitzer's has one spot over there, and then Judge Chancellor Forrester, his assistant, is now using the second spot there. There's only a limited amount of spots up front. It's like Judge Spitzer and Forrester, and then Judge Hunt, and then I was parking on the other side, and then there's an empty spot, and then there's a juvenile court car that parks there, and then the handicap spot, and then the sheriff parks in the back, and the 911, the DAs, dispatch, and law directors. But I'm just asking that we have a designated spot for myself that I can let my assistant use in the Jolly building.
Would that be, Mayor, would that be something Roger would with the parking? Is he kind of over that with building and grounds?
Not that I'm aware of, so commission, I mean, the way I view things, I don't know how, I know there's some parking spots that have names on there that have been stenciled on there. Since I've been here, I mean, those were already in place. My understanding is commission controls space in the courthouse, and that would carry over to parking spaces. And so, the 5 spots that are behind the courthouse that are for the judges, those are City of Clinton parking spaces. And so what we did is when we had some security issues, we approached the City of Clinton, and they worked with us on those 5 spots. We're very appreciative of that. And to Judge Bowling's point, that opened up those extra spots that were in the Jolly building. So I think, I mean, I don't know the history and haven't found any history of where commission has assigned them. Someone may know where it is. Commissioner McCamey, you've got the longest institutional knowledge. Maybe you might know where to look.
I asked Roger about it first, and he basically sent me here, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
here.
So I know, like, when I arrived, I was told the mayor has a spot down in the Jolly Garage. I prefer to be out in the open, and I'm up on the hill. I just, you know, from that kind of standpoint, just figure the employees are parking up there, I need to park up there too. So that was just kind of, some of these spots, other people have self-proclaimed that they are their spots. So it might warrant, you know, commission kind of walking through how they're chosen, and I'm happy to help in any way, so.
Commissioner McCamey?
Judge, you said there's an empty spot.
But all the other judges have one that is marked.
Well, it's not marked, I don't think. I'm not sure if it's marked down there or not. I don't know if you can read this or not, but I tried to do a layout. When you initially go into the parking garage from this side, then Judge Spitzer has a spot immediately to your left. There's another spot that Chancellor Forrester is using, and then Judge Hunt. And of course, Judge Hunt needs that because he goes directly up into his court. And then across from that, there's a spot that I was told was my spot. What happened was my assistant, the court clerk told my assistant he needed to change spots with her. So we did that because he couldn't get his truck in there. Then the spot she was using was really Chancellor Forrester's spot. He needed it in the past few weeks because Melissa, his assistant, had gotten approached a few weeks ago when she was going up to one of the other parking spots. Someone approached her, asked her for money, started talking to her about a court case. So he got concerned about her safety. So he asked if he could park in the spot that my assistant was using. So she went to go back to the other spot, and then basically we were told it's just up for grabs, so whoever can get a spot. And my assistant's not been able to get a spot. So that's why I'm here. So sorry to bother you all with something so mundane, but it really does help me. Yes, sir.
That car that's been sitting in there, it's been sitting in there for, I don't know if it's been moved in 3 years.
Do you know who it belongs to, or?
Well, one of the cars belongs to juvenile court, and they're supposed to be moving it up, but they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, and it's the one that was right there. the judge before you was on the corner. Cause when somebody parked him, the only reason I know is because somebody parked him one day and he had towed.
I haven't had anybody towed,
But
so.
I would think you can move the car,
Well, I'm trying to get that, I'm trying different ways. I talked to Roger, I tried that. I've talked to juvenile court, and Judge Hunt's supposed to be checking on that. But during the meantime, my assistant needs somewhere, you know, to park. And
places where Rex Lynch is parking that thing. That's where the judge used to.
Commissioner Anderson.
It sounds like
thank
there
you,
is kind
Mr.
of
Parrott.
it sounds like there is
mention that.
some element of a security issue involved in it too, you know, with employees maybe getting caught outside or something. So, would it be best for commission to maybe recommend to the courthouse, the security committee, that we want to designate a judicial assistant space for each judge, and then let the security committee convene and kind of decide?
We brought it up at
Which
the
space?
I brought it up at the security meeting because we just had a meeting on Wednesday, and they said, basically, I thought we said bring it to commission. So, but we can try to bring it up there again if we need to.
I think Commissioner McCamey could probably head up a little task force and take care of that.
I'd like to make a motion that we grant a spot and ask Roger to designate a spot for all of the judges. And then if they choose to allow their assistant to use it, that's fine. But just, I guess my motion would be to allow a spot for all the judges.
And the assistant.
One in the Jolly Building, and then, of course, the back, like I said, that's the city of Clinton, so, that, you know, but
Commissioner Foster.
I guess we'll wait, see if there's a second. I just had a question on,
Second.
for discussion. So currently, I'm trying to get an understanding there are spots behind the courthouse for the judges, correct?
That is correct.
And is that where they all park except for Judge Hunt?
Correct.
And then, okay, so really we're just designating, every other assistant has a spot in the Jolly Building except for your assistant, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Just making sure I had all
And
my.
the other thing that we use it for is, which this has happened to us quite a bit lately, if we have to recuse ourselves from a case, then we want to have somewhere for our visiting judge to park. And a lot of times I'll have cases, but then I'll have somebody else coming over for cases. And we want to try to make it as easy on them as possible, especially if they're trying to come over and cover things for other judges. So that's another thing we use it for. And then we'll have the assistants, you know, they'll have to do something else that day. But that would be very, very helpful. I would appreciate it.
Okay. You have a discussion on the motion? Did you get the motion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you so much.
you get Roger to.
Next is presentation by Nathan Wade.
Well, we got a little bit of a technical difficulty this evening, so I guess this is the only TV that's running. But I'm coming back next month, so we should have all the TVs up and going. But I'm Nathan Wade. I'm the principal at Anderson County Career and Technical Center. I was named the principal back in July, and when I started, I sat down with all my teachers and all my programs and said, hey, what can we do in your program to improve what you're doing? Because everybody can get better at something. And so when I sat down with construction, you know, they said, hey, when you build something, it doesn't matter what it is, first thing you have to do is prep the site. I mean, you can't, we live in East Tennessee, there's very few places where you just buy a piece of land and you just start building. You have to prep the site. So we don't really do a whole lot to prep a building site. So we would like to look at teaching students how to move some dirt around and prep a site and get it to grade so we can actually get something built. So when they graduate, they're a little bit ahead of the game. So we went and visited TCAT in Knoxville, one of our post-secondary partners, and we started looking at the Department of Education standards and the TBR standards, and all of them talk about site preparation, excavation work, okay? So the natural process was to kind of follow what our post-secondary partners are doing and kind of look at these simulators. So before we get to what we're asking, I want to kind of paint a vision for you so you understand why we're asking what we're asking. So first of all, what makes us unique? So I've always felt this is my 9th year there, that we're definitely a leader in career and technical education in the state. And I say that because, not because of anything I've done, but we've got great teachers and we've got great students and we've got a great community and Board of Education that value career and technical education. And we have, throughout the year, we'll have several school districts will come in and visit our school to see what we're doing, and they want to try to, there's this resurgence in career and technical education. And a lot of districts throughout the state are trying to resurge their districts into kind of what we're doing. And so we get a lot of visitors throughout the state, and it's pretty awesome. We've got 2 teachers. It's a 2-teacher program. They've got 45 plus years of construction experience between them. They've got over 20 years teaching experience between them. Got great partnerships with the union. We got some good industry partnerships, and as most of you know, I don't know who all was in that meeting a few weeks ago about the nuclear development workforce, but we've got a lot of new infrastructure wanting to come into this region, and you know, and I don't want Anderson County and Anderson County schools to be on the back burner. I want us to be a driving force and a leader in that initiative. So here's some real quick, just construction by the numbers, and these are as accurate as we could get in the past few years, but roughly we serve 140 students annually in our construction program, and this is Clinton High School and Anderson County High School. These numbers are all combined. I didn't segregate one or the other. 99% of our students own an OSHA certification. So out of that 140, maybe 1 or 2 don't earn an OSHA certification. So when they go to work at one of the plants, or they go to a job site, or go to an industry, you know, that piece of paper, it kind of gets their name to the top of the pile. It's something that all industry really requires. It's a safety thing. We serve about 35 to 40 students annually in that program through work-based learning. And then in the past few years, we've had roughly 40 students go on to work in the union, or work in some sort of job placement in the construction industry. So what are the community and industry needs? So that meeting I went to a few weeks ago, we've got Orano. It's a French company that's based in Bethesda, Maryland, and they're going to do a uranium enrichment in Oak Ridge, and they're talking about the 300 high-tech jobs. And you know, you think about engineers and you think about industrial maintenance, and that's great. And you see that $5 billion investment coming into our region, coming into Roane County and Anderson County. But the thing that really made my eyes jump was when the guy started talking about 5,000 to 10,000 skilled jobs in the nuclear industry and construction, welding, pipe fitting, machining, industrial maintenance. And there's no better place in Anderson County to prepare that future workforce than Anderson County Career and Technical Center. And so when I think of that 10,000 jobs, that's a lot of jobs, right? And how can we impact that? Here's some numbers from one of our local unions. Right now, today, and these numbers are from last week, but right now, today, they could hire 20 students right now to go work as operators. They think, based on their older data, that in the next 5 years, they're going to need 200 alone at the one union. I'm not going to read all that, but students start out $35 to $42 an hour as a journeyman after they go through the apprenticeship program. What some of our students have found, we've got a student working down in Chattanooga at one of the nuclear power plants. They actually knocked a year off of his union time because he went through our construction program and he was so well prepared. Project timeline. Let me go and see. Need to move back. I've jumped around here. Sorry. What we want to purchase is a Caterpillar excavator simulator. They're at TCAT. There's, I think, 25 schools and high schools in Georgia have them. Nobody in East Tennessee has anything like this at the high school level. They do it at the post-secondary level. Stowers Cat at the industrial level, they do it. It's how they're training their equipment operators before they put them on iron, so to speak. So as I'm talking, that's the piece of equipment right there. In front of you, I think Commissioner Anderson handed you out different quotes. There's a sole source provider letter. That's the first thing. They're the only provider of this equipment. Caterpillar only works with one company to provide this piece of equipment. The first quote is the best simulator that they have, but it comes with a curriculum, which is a big thing. You know, when you have to understand about education is you give them tools, but you have to give them the curriculum and the training for the teachers to empower the students, to grow the students. So Caterpillar develops this curriculum with their subject matter experts, with their operators. And when students finish the program, they're actually given a CAT certification. And when they go onto a job site, I mean, it carries some weight, carries a lot of weight. Actually, Mr. Woodard and Mr. Wood, my assistant principal, went to the Pie Center last Thursday, and those students, when they leave through a program down there through the Wood Brothers construction, they don't have simulators. They actually just go ahead and put them straight on the iron. They're hiring these kids at $72,000 a year right out of high school if they can run one piece of equipment. Now that's they spent 2 years of time going out to a job site and working with them through work-based learning, but they don't do the simulator work. We're wanting to start with the simulators. And if they can run 3 pieces of equipment, they can earn up to $105,000, 401k and benefits. And we're talking 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You're not talking old guys like me that's got to put in all this time. I mean, that's how bad that we need skilled tradesmen and skilled operators. The second quote is it's that piece of a machinery, but it doesn't come with a curriculum and it doesn't come with the ability to move. So when the student's sitting there, they're sitting with Caterpillar controls. It's not something that they've bought at Best Buy and put together, because there are other companies that make simulators but aren't Caterpillar approved. The controls are different. They're very generic. Doesn't provide them the same tactile learning ability that the Caterpillar does. We get back up here, get back on track. So project timeline, we would like to in the next couple of months order a simulator and get that in the school, and then we're right now working with our students to repurpose the tool room at ACCTC to turn that into our virtual learning lab, and then they're going to build a new tool room because we've got all those hand tools that we're going to continue to teach and continue to learn with. On Thursday, the budget committee asked me to, hey, go out to your industry partners and see what they say. Well, my guys went to work immediately in less than 24 hours. They had Clinton Home Center willing to come in and, help restructure those tool rooms and provide materials and do things that cost. Chad Wesley, said, hey, we love this idea. We want to partner as much as we can with you to help you save some money so you can get this simulator. And then moving forward, I guess the long-term vision on into the fall and in December is to have on site. I'm gonna jump ahead. Is to have we have a piece of property at ACCTC. We want to turn that into our sandbox, or our dirt labs, what we want to call it, where kids are going from the classroom, doing the OSHA, learning with the hand tools, learning safety, going to the simulator, and then eventually working with our industry partners to get real pieces of equipment up there where they're on a level grade and they're learning how to dig footers and grade roadways and place in culverts, things like that. I mean, that is the grand vision that we're talking about. So the original ask was Anderson County Schools. We were going to provide $41,000. The total cost for the simulator package is at $89,000. The original ask to the commission last week was for $60,000. That puts us right at $101,000. That allows us to buy the simulator and then allows us to buy the curriculum for the next few years. But they asked us to kind of go back and look at numbers and work with partners, and so we did that in short work. So Anderson County Schools kick in $41,000. The construction department, because they did a really good job working with Clinton Home Center, they're able to take some money that they were going to use to build that virtual lab. They're going to be able to save $10,000 that we can throw in there from the school, and I've got some door and / maintenance money, the big roll-up doors at the Career Center. We've been replacing a door or two every year. We can kind of put that off. I mean, we're that passionate about it. Take that $10,000 and that gets us up to $61,000. And if we go to the $89,000 price tag, the ask of the commission now would be $28,272.37 would be the ask. I think it's valuable, folks. Like I said, I want Anderson County. I think we all want Anderson County to be a leader in this new nuclear workforce that's coming in, and the jobs are coming, and they're going to somebody. And all that tax revenue, we want that to stay here. We want those new homes to be built here. just got a list of some of our current partners or some potential partners that we're looking at. These are pictures of our students that competed in a Builders Exchange program, a Tennessee competition a few weeks ago. They did really well. That's them up there with the teachers working. We had a student win a nice big skill toolbox. The SimLight, that's down the road. That's something that our program, they're going to raise money or work with industry partners to put smaller versions of those simulators in the construction classrooms. And then I guess the long term, once we get the equipment on site, now we're having our diesel students and our diesel program maintain the machines along with technicians from Stowers, Cat, and other industries in the area. And that's our contact information. And I plan on coming back, I guess, next month. Is that right, Joe?
Commissioner Anderson.
The budget committee had asked Mr. Wade to come back to budget in January, and I wanted him to come and talk to both budget and operations, just because we'd had the meeting with the nuclear industry, and I think it's just really important to show them that Anderson County's willing to invest and partner with the schools to attract the industry. And I know budget kind of sounded like they wanted to be the last dollar in, but I do think it would help to kind of put some of the first dollars in just to attract the industries to supply the sandbox down the road and the actual real equipment down the road. They need to see that we're committed and we're invested. Now, I don't want to bypass budget committee or anything, and I know they've asked Mr. Wade to come back in January, but I would like to make a motion that operations committee endorse the idea, and that the operations recommends to budget in January that they would fund it up to $60,000, because I don't necessarily think we need to scrimp on the bay doors, and those are 45 or 50 years old already. So I mean, he's willing to put a lot aside to get this done on his own if he has to, but I think it says a lot to the industries and who we're trying to recruit that we join in with them. And with the voucher issue and money following students already, we need to kind of be a regional hub to attract students that want to come here or move here to go to our schools. So I think this is a good investment.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Anderson, seconded by Commissioner McCamey. Other discussion?
This is kind of directed to both you and Dr. Parrott. Waste Management donates money to each commissioner to be able to donate money to schools.
Mhm.
And I would like to have the opportunity for a letter to be sent to us and approved, and you know the process for that. Because I think I have $2,000 or $3,000. I think, you know, if I could recruit some people to donate, we might be able to get another 10 for you. So I would be willing to donate whatever is in my reserve account toward this, but I need the process to go forward with the request. So that's what I'd like to see, because
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll definitely be part of this.
Any other questions?
I've got something when everybody else is done. As most people know, that's my business. That's what I do, is I work on heavy equipment. I can start them and move them, but I can't make them do what they're supposed to do. And I worked with CAP for 40 years. I know these people, all the ones that was up there, 90% of them, they're my customers, or I've done work with them before. And when this type of simulator, how much time would somebody have on? Because we're only talking about one, and, you know, I'd like to see 2 or 3 myself, because.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so the vision ultimately is to start with that one, to paint that vision for our industry partners. Ultimately, we've got enough room down there for 3 or 4. And then we have the other part of the virtual lab. We want to look at potentially some virtual welding equipment and some other virtual trainers, industrial maintenance. But yeah, ultimately, you know, I know TCAP Knoxville, they have 3. They have I call it an excavator. They have an articulated truck, and then they have a dozer, and they have those 3. And they spend considerable time on it. And it's not something that, you know, every student's going to be on it all the time, obviously, but it's going to be geared more for your upperclassmen, the students that have kind of checked all the boxes and got the foundational skills, and the ones that have earned that way, that path, and that's really what they're driven to do, because, you know, we've got a lot of kids that want to do that. So to give you an hour, I don't know, but I could probably get you that answer. I don't know how many hours they get at TCAT. Do you, David, by chance? I don't know.
I couldn't quote it off the top of my head.
Yeah. I know it's substantial enough from what I'm hearing from industry partners that they're saying, wow, that gives them a leg up. And I'm really wanting to look at them over maybe somebody that's never sat on anything, you know, because you're starting from ground zero. The other thing that, and I didn't really touch on it, is they're learning how to do the flagging and stuff. So when you're working for a highway department or you're out there on the road working for a major paving company, you're learning flagging operations. Like, that's something else that those guys want to incorporate.
Well, there's certain hand signals you got to use when you're operating a crane. You know,
Yep.
it's just not up and down and all this. You got to have
Yep.
all that, you know, education as well. But every customer that I deal with in heavy equipment, that's their main focus, is they don't have enough operators. You know, you've got the owners that's out there operating equipment, doing everything else too, but they just don't have enough operators. And I know some of the welding students now that's came through, and they've been, you know, out for just a couple, 3 years, and, you know, they're making 6 figures. And they come from Anderson County straight into industry. And I've always said, you know, back when Foster was over the school board, and Tim Parrott, he's, you know, he's a machinist toolmaker by trade. And that's what builds things. And these are the type of people that's going to stay here, and they're going to invest in the community. You know, they're making 6 figures, and their wife's probably working too. So, you know, these are the ones that stay here. They don't just get education and move away. So that's what we want to keep. But, you know, I'm all for it because I can see the benefits of it. Mr. McKay?
I'm behind it 100%. But are we talking about taking money from the county general fund? Is that?
That's what I'd recommend, either that or ARPA, but I wanted to just send it. He's informally coming to budget committee next month anyway, but I just wanted to just send it to budget to actually find him some money somewhere to.
Well, then, if we do it through the county general fund, don't we have to do the same for Oak Ridge and?
Not if it's a special one-time project. Wouldn't we have to pay?
I think it depends on what fund you take it out of. So if it's out of the capital projects fund, that's one of the things that Budget Committee did talk about. They did not have a motion on this. It was just an informal request, various commissioners talking, that it also go to the schools first. So they have a 177 capital fund. It's budgeted at 900,000+ a year. Then they have a fund balance of 900,000. So I think that was part of the discussion. And then some of the industry partners, the discussion was also to have a conversation with folks like UCOR, CNS, that might be a funding partner as well. You know, I know that in the past when we've done things such as when we did the Chromebooks the first time, we ended up having to also write that check. So we do have to be careful with how we do it and what fund it comes out of. And so that would be a question for Robbie and Randy on tracking that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm behind it 100%. I think it's a great idea. I've looked at all the information that you sent us, and I'm 100% behind it.
Excellent return on investment. Commissioner Foster?
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I don't like the motion with the price tag put on it, just because I think that's budget's job more than ours. I would, if you're willing to amend the motion to support this to budget, I'm okay with that, because I do think we need to figure out where the money's coming from. I think Commissioner Yeager having willing, you know, some of that pot from that, and then UCOR, I know we just saw them, and they have grants. And I know that really wouldn't hit your timeline, but I know we're talking about multiple ones. They have a grant out there too, but even if they're willing to fund it, I don't like having an amount to say we're going to support this, because I just don't feel like operations, that's more in their budget. But I am for the project. I think it's great. I think it's stuff we need, and more hands-on kind of projects in our schools is something that we need to look at. So I'm in favor of it, but I will vote no if the price tag stays on there.
Well, I guess With the, I know the capital fund that the schools have, they've kind of got a plan, you know, they're going to build Claxton School with no tax increase. So the school, I feel like the school system is doing a lot already. And this to me, I still think the county really needs to show a $5 billion private investment that's coming into the county that, hey, we're willing to put money into the schools to meet the needs that industry and business want. I mean, I guess if you're planning on coming to budget in January anyway, so I can amend the motion to take the dollar amount off, but I really do hope that budget will find the money in the county to help. The schools already they're putting 40, well, with the construction and the maintenance, they're putting close to 60 in already, so. But yeah, I can take the dollar amount off the motion.
Thank you.
Well, before we vote on this, so do you want it to go to full commission for more discussion or just as a recommendation?
Show support kind of a thing, right?
Well, I mean, I was just trying, I thought sending it to budget, or just sending it to budget officially in January was kind of still staying within the, respecting the committees. I mean, if it were up to me, I would want to vote on it next Monday at full commission and just hand over the money, but I guess I would want to, I guess I'll recommend sending it to budget in January from, just that operations endorses funding it.
Okay. Does everybody agree with that?
I do feel like, Josh, I think not waiting until the last minute and say, okay, now, you know, everybody else has done what they're gonna do and we're gonna finish it off. I think we need to make the point that we endorse it. And
Well, if you want to have discussion, you know, Monday night, just so the people from, everyone that's there from the budget committee, you know, everybody's going to be there and just be an open discussion. And because not everybody will get to hear what we're talking about tonight, but it's just, you know, open discussion about, you know, the suggestion and recommendation from operations committee. I mean, it's up to y'all, whatever you want to do.
So just recommend to budget and full commission both, just add to that, it's fine with me.
I'm sorry, I want to go back. I think we should send it through budget. That's where they were going. That's where the money, I just afraid when we get to full commission, it could, if we have enough votes, obviously we can give the money, but we're still going to have to go through and look where it needs to come from. And, you know, Commissioner Yeager, I'm with you. I've got money in my account from there that I'd definitely be willing to give towards this, but we need the letter. So I just think, just for procedure wise, I think we can endorse it as this committee and send it to the budget. I'd hate for him to come back and talk about it, and then it's got to go back through budget again. And so I think we just send it to budget with our endorsement, would be my thoughts.
Okay, so what you want to do? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mayor?
Oh, if you'll just let me speak on this for just a second.
Okay.
I know if you want to finish calling your vote, so.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Just real quickly, I wanted to say that this is absolutely a phenomenal project, and I love it and support it. One of the things that was discussed at the nuclear, it was a joint workshop between Anderson County Commissioners, Roane County Commissioners, Anderson County School Board, Roane County School Board, and I know Wade was there as well. One of the things that we talked about, and Commissioner Anderson, I know you weren't there, but one of the things that was talked about was that the governor does and the General Assembly have a $60 million nuclear fund. And so the topic of conversation in that regard was, are there ideas that we can come up with, because the governor and ECD are funding things like this. So they are funding programs at TCAT, Tennessee Tech, Roane State. They are standing programs up. And so we're sitting here having a discussion, or it just jumps on the agenda, and it needs more of a collaborative discussion because there are multiple funding partners other than just, you know, taking, I mean, we have to remember, we passed a deficit budget last year. and we're still in a deficit budget. Part of that is due to the ratio factor that really took a hit on Anderson County. But if there are other dollars out there that aren't just Anderson County, how much farther can we take ours? And I think there are a lot of people, you know, we have these conversations, we can push it forward. You know, we send a request, we show the plan. I think we show this plan to ECD. I could very much see them saying, this is what we're talking about. This is the kind of innovation that we're talking about for the state of Tennessee that we need to carry us forward. So I just wanted to put that out there when I raise some of these issues. It's not being opposed. I talked to Wes Stowers about something like this several months ago, and he's the one who let me know that he helped get them into the TCAP facilities. So
Well,
I
that-
just
you
kind of
know-
want to put that out there for context.
Yeah, I agree, because that, we need more than one, I can tell you.
Yes.
It's just like going through a machine shop, if you only got one lathe and you got 16 people in there, how much time you gonna get on that lathe? Tim's back there laughing because he knows what I'm talking about, but I think that's where we
Yeah.
come up with some more and build this program. And Anderson County's always a beacon, especially the school system. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the mayor's report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the first item on the agenda is I'm requesting a motion to approve Resolution 2412-1192. The background on this is currently the state of Tennessee has, I think it's $813 million to put broadband to unserved and underserved folks out across the state of Tennessee. Anderson County has been divided up into 3 project areas, and I included that map in the agenda item. We're looking at, under the unserved and underserved, that number is approximately 1,200 individuals. Now, that number is not final until the National Telecommunication and Information Administration certifies those numbers, so that number of people could go up or down. But I met with Frontier. They have successfully submitted a letter of intent to the state of Tennessee, so they are eligible, and they are interested in applying for all of the project areas. Only one provider will be chosen for each project area. It could be the same provider. I mean, it could be, if it's Comcast, if it's Frontier, they could win all 3, or they could just win one, but each project area will have a winner. I left a blank on the section for a match, just because of procedure. So what I will do is be adding that blank to the mayor's report with a request, because I know since it didn't go to budget, this all happened after budget committee agenda. Since it didn't go to budget, I'll ask for that to be added to the agenda as a topic by 2/3. But it doesn't have to be a large amount. It can be just something like $10,000, just to show that we do have a little bit of skin in the game. So this would be requesting your passage of the resolution without a dollar amount.
Got a motion by Commissioner Foster. We have a second. Seconded by Commissioner McCamey. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimous. And this has been a long time coming. I mean, we've had how many broadband committees?
Yes, yeah.
And, we've got 2 people from New River that's sitting there that can tell you the need
Yes.
of that coming all the way over the mountain.
And this is really bringing a lot more providers to the state as well. So you're seeing, where it used to be, you only had a couple of options. And there's another company that's reached out to me, which I'm going to have an online meeting with, which that's good. The state of Tennessee has needed a little more competition in this particular area. The one thing about this particular company, and I've yet to see, I'm not favoring them because I've not seen the other proposals yet. They do have low-cost options, so you can get still high speed, but they have a plan that, the citizen would only pay $29.99 a month, which is a huge savings from what a lot of folks are paying. So they do have that tiered plan for people. And, you know, sometimes you have to meet certain government standards and be eligible. This would just be if, by your choice, if you want $29.99. So,
Dr. Barrett, how would that affect, you know, we have the Chromebooks now, and we've got a lot of students that don't have access to the internet. That would,
It would help, because we've got some of them that you have to give them hotspots, and even when you give them hotspots, they get there, they don't work, you know, because there's no power or anything. I'd love to have it. you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what Knox County, KUB did theirs, and I hear a lot of people talk about it, but I don't know if you get CUB involved or not.
No,
no.
you can forget it.
I'm causing trouble now. You like to say that on the record up here?
Mr. Anderson?
Mayor, when you said we could only pick one company, would there be things we can put in place to make sure that they're gonna run it to everybody, or not that they just bid on it to get it and then they decide, well, this isn't worth?
We
covering
don't
this?
pick one company, just the state of Tennessee
state,
will.
okay.
So there may be multiple applicants per project area. But part of the application and award process is you have to serve all in the project area.
Okay, so
So,
nobody's gonna
yeah.
get?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking with one of my leadership, Tennessee Next, that works with the broadband for the state of Tennessee, and so she was
Okay.
telling me some of the stuff that was coming forward,
Good.
and that the money be available in late 2025, 2026, and that was one of the caveats that I liked.
Yeah, good.
So that's awesome.
The next is just to that same point, is a motion expressing that Anderson County wishes to support the efforts. And basically, this would authorize me to write a general letter of support for Frontier's application. And then I have a little caveat in there that if you all want to word the motion in such a way that I can write a support letter for any other potential providers, or if you prefer to wait, the deadline has been moved, because they don't have these final numbers from NTIA. They're pushing everything into January, so there is time if you prefer to authorize by name. That's just whatever you all want to do as commission. But I would like a motion authorizing a letter of support, at least for Frontier.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner McCamey, second by Commissioner Yeager. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Mayor, how do you pronounce that word?
Ubiquitous?
What?
Ubiquitous?
Ubiquitous, okay.
That's actually, I mean, that's how they have wording. It means it's a lack of broadband everywhere.
Okay.
The next, I'm secretary of the Ethics Committee, and so I put this on there for Dr. Parrott, who has joined us. He does have school board tonight, so we appreciate him coming over here and presenting for the Ethics Committee.
Thank you. I'm not used to coming before this committee, so. A couple of things, as you may or may not know, I've been the chairman of the Ethics Committee for about 7 years now, I think, and I think we've met one time. And that's probably good, because we've got a lot of ethical people in Anderson County. But one of the things that had come out of it, and if you remember, we brought it up a few years back and tried to change some things, and there was a lot of controversy with how we were going to do it, how we were going to set up the committee. So Mr. Brooks did a lot of work for us on this, and throughout this, we got some letters from our judges about how they were part of the original committee, but they felt like, and there was a conflict of interest if it was a big ethic violation and it came to them, then, you know, they would have to recuse themselves. So they asked to be brought off that committee. So then when we started looking at it, we had some people that really done some digging into it, and found out that through this, there was a lot of other people that had changed the way they did their committees. So what this is the gist of the committee will stay the same. It will still, if there is something that's a complaint, it will go to the law director's office, an ombudsman. If it is about him, then it would come straight to the committee. And the committee, that would be on Section 5. It's going to be set up just like every other committee. It will consist of 5 members. They'll be appointed for 1 year by the county mayor and confirmed by the county legislative body. And at least 3 of those members will be committee members of the legislative body. 1 member will be a constitutional county officer, and the other one will be a person that is appointed by the mayor. So it really and truly makes it a whole lot workable committee. It makes it something that once it can be put into place, there'll have to be a resolution changing it from the, I think there was 13 people on that committee, wasn't it? From a 13 committee down to 5. And then what it will help is every year, instead of just letting it drag on and on and on, and then there has a complaint, you got to figure out where to pull people together. The mayor will bring them up every year, and they'll be appointed, and you all will confirm that. So the committee unanimously voted, the ones that were there for this. We had Tim Shelton there. We had, I was there. The sheriff was there. We had, my mind just went blank. Jeff Cole was there. So we had a lot of people that were there, and some county commissioners were also involved in that. So we're here tonight to present this to you for your consideration. And I'll take any questions. Or Mr. Brooks or Mayor Frank would take any questions too.
Mayor?
And just real quickly, that 5th person does have to be associated with Anderson County government somehow. So, for instance, the 5th person may be a member of a board, committee, commission. So that's so that Dr. Parrott can stay on there as one of the appointees because he.
There you go.
Mr. Yeager?
I'm just going to make a motion to approve the update to the Code of Ethics.
Okay. Second by Commissioner McCamey. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you. I'm going back across the street for another one.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks may want to speak on this, but he has already prepared just an amendment to the resolution, if you would like him to bring that to Monday's meeting. So that's the policy, and then you have a resolution that it attaches to. And he improved some of the areas. So for instance, it would be posted on bulletin boards, and he added that it would also, go to the official website of Anderson County government. He has that prepared if you would like him to put that on the agenda with this.
I would think so. Make for the motion, second agree?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll just vote on the amended motion real quick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
The only other thing I have on there is coming from last month's meeting was the requesting a motion to approve the Fire Academy letter. I did put the draft in there. I know Commissioner Wandell is not here tonight, so I don't know if you want to act on that or just wait till next month or forward it without a recommendation since he's not here tonight, because I know that was coming from the Fire Commission. So however you want to handle that.
I was in contact with him today, and he was letting me know they couldn't be here. So I think if we just send it on without a recommendation, that would, if somebody make that motion.
So moved.
Okay. Got a motion by Commissioner McCamey, seconded by Commissioner Yeager. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Stormwater.
Did I have anything else? I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Well, as number 5 was stormwater management.
Oh, gosh, okay. I forgot. So stormwater management, I'm sorry, I just put a cough drop in. I just put this on here for you all to take a look at because there's a lot to it. This is a requirement of TDEC. And so I'll officially bring it next month. I'll bring Danny Phillips, who's our stormwater coordinator. I'll bring Jason Mann, who is our next level contractor for stormwater. So what Tennessee Department of Environment Conservation is requiring us to do is implement a runoff reduction law to address stormwater and flooding issues. I do have a map, and if you are okay with me handing this out, Leanne was out this afternoon, so I couldn't print in color. I only have a black and white printer. It does not apply to the entire county. What is in the stormwater resolution is only the portion of our county under what is called the MS4 permit, and we're required to be under this. And so I'll pass the map out, and if you're okay with that, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
So if you look on the map, you'll see like some darker gray areas that don't have striping or anything. So Oak Ridge is under their own MS4 permit. The city of Clinton is under their own MS4 permit. And then you'll see the striped area of Norris and Rocky Top. They have their own permits. The areas that are dark are just the only areas of the county that are the MS4 for us. So you'll see wide swath of the county, it's not applicable. But what this new runoff reduction law is going to require is that if someone does a development in one of these areas, then they are going to have to engineer stormwater control measures into the site plan to treat a specific water quality treatment volume. And so what this is going to require is when you do a permit, if there's going to be some level of impact that meets these standards, these folks are going to have a plan to address it and either do somehow a retention pond, or there are all kinds of, might be gravel, just gravel, if it's only minor. There's levels, obviously, just depending on where the development is and what the impact might be. And this new requirement is also going to require it to go along with the deed. So so you've probably seen in the past, there might be a development, and through the construction process, there is a pond that's built, and it checks all the boxes for the construction. And then what happens is once that's over and maybe new people come along or someone buys the property, there are no requirements in place any longer. And so that's why they're going to require this to go on a deed, that somehow it's always noted that there's a requirement to manage, if it needs to be this little area just always stays gravelled, or there's a pond or something like that. So that's what we're looking at. The rest of it, really, we're doing the minimum that's required. I just want you to understand what I'm bringing to you is not the maximum. It is the minimum that is required. And then also, Danny and Jason did work extensively on our existing stormwater management plan to kind of, what Danny says is cut the fat, remove a lot of the parts where there's repeat or redundancy or it's not clear. And so that's all what you have in front of you. And I just wanted to put it in front of you so that, if you get some community feedback as folks start talking about this, if they want to know if it applies to them or their area, and then also, questions that you may have, this is what we're required to do. So I wanted plenty of time for Q&A. And then even if there's more, we can move it on to February, but we do have to pass something eventually. And Michael, I'm sure you know this from Rocky Top and being the city manager, so.
Do you
So
need
no
any-
action today. This
No
was just,
action
I
today.
wanted to put it in front of you, kind of explain what you're looking at, and then we'll be back in January.
Okay.
question on that. Is that something, that wouldn't be something that, I mean, I know there's a lot of interest in tomorrow night's BZA meeting. That would, I'm assuming, would apply to the developer going forward with that property, but is that something that they could try to get a variance out of with the BZA, or is it pretty non-negotiable?
For stormwater, no. I mean,
it's-
that's.
So there's no way around that if when that gets passed, so that's
Yes.
not, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to, you can put a variant, like if it calls for a retention pond, sorry, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Retention pond, and I've seen this rock top, you know, the plan said it needed to be a retention pond, so, and really a lot of times it says, how is the water gonna be mitigated? So instead of a retention pond, this person did like slow drainage that all the way around their property, so when it fed into it, it fed all the way around, so it's slowly based on like the number amount, but then others can be rock, like I said, the mayor said it could be rock depending on what was there before, if it was dirt before, because rock helps slows it down. Could just be tying into a storm drain, whatever it may be, but yeah, you have to mitigate what actions are going to be taken based on the engineering. You can do a they look at the floodplain and they look at they can do a soil test, that kind of thing. So there are tests out there, and you get an engineer to write off and say, hey, this will mitigate the runoff that's going to be caused by this property, and it's all submitted in the site plan just like they would come and do a development. So if you got a piece of property now, you're putting a bunch of paved roads and parking lot, you're gonna have a lot more, because you're now on solid ground compared to, it's a campground and now you've put rock over it, you're not really changing that much, you know, of the drainage system, because you now just put rock on top of it, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Foster. Okay. Refer from November Operation Being Ready took up the letter of support for Regional State Fire Academy. The idea of consolidating of E911 entity.
I don't have any update on that. I have had a couple of meetings and conversations. That was something that the motion was for me to start working on that. So work has started, but I don't have anything official to report, but hopefully by next month.
Okay. All right, then we'll just roll that over to next month. Okay. Opioid settlement funds. Chairman? Chairman Vandergrift.
All right. Well, we did have a opioid committee meeting on, let me find my notes here, last week. And we had a presentation from Jennifer Tourville, and she's the executive director of the SMART initiative with UT. So they are very involved with distribution of this money and helping counties decide and disperse the money. So one of the main things that we kind of learned from that was that we need to have the 2023 or 2022, I'm sorry. I had these laid out and now I've got them out of order. We need to have our 2023 money allocated by March of 2025. So that's around $425,000 that needs to be committed by March, end of March. So to do that, we proposed a timeline, and it's pretty aggressive, where we would make some public notices in some of the papers and on the websites, that we would open up a portal that would be on the county website where people could access the applications. So that portal would be open January 1st to January 31st. Then in February, the committee would review those applications and make a decision on disbursement of the funds. And then in March, in the budget meeting, and then in the county commission meeting, we would make, the budget meeting would approve that recommendation or
deny that recommendation, and then the county full commission would have an opportunity to make the resolution to disperse those funds. And so that should get us to be able to disperse these funds by the end of February, end of March. We also discussed that we needed to make a couple of small changes in the resolution, the original resolution that we had passed. And so I did send those changes to Law Director Brooks, and he actually sent back that resolution with those changes to me today. So I think he's going to include that in his Law Director's report for full commission, so we can get that approved. One of the main changes was in section A3, or section 3, and then A, where we were going to change the application. So we had an application we had talked about, we had used the nonprofit application, but actually the SMART initiative has an application that they let us look at, and we really like it. It asks a lot of questions. Who are you serving? What's your metrics going to be? You know, how are you going to measure your effectiveness? It also has some information that I think the mayor will need to use to do her reporting to the state on how these funds are used. So we did request that we substitute the application from the nonprofit to the new application.
So, Madam Chairman?
Uh-huh.
So everybody that's already turned in an application, they have to redo it? They have to
Yes,
fill
and
out.
we did have, again, in my paperwork, I believe we had 6 that had already turned in applications. So we will contact those people, or I'll contact them and make sure that they know that they need to resubmit those applications.
Okay, and I think we set a limit on what the
Yes.
ask would be.
Yes, we did set a limit on the max of 60,000 per project. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And what we're doing here tonight is so we can move expeditiously.
Mhm.
We're bringing it here, and somebody hopefully will make a motion to send it on to forward full commission, full discussion, so we can move forward with this.
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Foster, seconded by Commissioner Anderson. Any other discussion or questions? And I think that Annette's making a packet for everybody like we had, those colored
Okay.
packets, and she's putting them in
Okay.
everybody's box. Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
of course, the
everybody
new
have that.
resolution will be under the law director's report. So you can look at that when the county commission packet comes out.
Okay.
And I'll just add that part of that motion was to run everything through the opioid committee.
Yes.
Before it goes to budget. So anybody that's applying for money would go through the opioid in the application process, even internal candidates.
Yes.
Just so we can make sure we're looking at it and just kind of handle it that way before it goes to budget. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
And it'll be a scoring.
And scoring
In scoring, yes.
Scoring
So
process.
if you will, when you get the new resolution, if you look at section 3 and also section 4, those were the 2 that had changes
Okay.
to them. Section 3A and section 4.
All right. All those in favor, send to full commission, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Resolution number 24-12-1191, establishing 2025 meeting dates and times for Anderson County Board of Commissioners. Okay. Second by Commissioner McCamey.
I'm trying to get it.
Discussion?
I had a question, I was trying to get it.
While he's looking at that, I'll just, the day meetings are hard for me to make, so I'm just gonna vote no because we're still got the day meetings on there. I know a lot of people like them, it's just for work purposes, and I know some other commissioner have issues getting there too, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote no with you.
That was related to my question too, and I'm gonna vote no since you're voting no. so.
3-3, it's gonna fail. All in favor, say aye.
I made the motion, I'll say aye, even though I would like to say no, but I will say aye.
Okay. Any opposed, say no.
No.
No. Motion fails. Okay. So what do we do? We change it
That was my question. Do we send it
to forward to full commission without recommendation?
so to have discussion on it or do we just send it with, or eliminate the day meetings? Is that,
Somebody make a motion for that?
Let me ask a quick, can I ask one? Who created the resolution? Was it law director or? And that did? Okay. All right. That's all I asked. Needed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we forward the recommendation to the full commission with the understanding that we do away with the daytime meeting.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion?
Why is one of them on Thursday instead of just the day after the holiday? Because of the county government day. They meet that week.
there's a conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did that this past year. too,
We did,
didn't we?
yeah, and it was really out of
Yeah, it
sync
was
with
out of sync.
everything.
Would it be weird to move it like either the next week or,
The fourth
Be the
Monday.
last Monday?
Keep it the fourth, make it the fourth Monday.
I mean, I know that's Clinton City Council, but that doesn't really affect anything. I mean, they're not, that's what I would say too, that Thursday meeting's a week. 'Cause I think that day, I think some of us even forgot that there was a meeting that night because, but I'm also out of town that whole week, so I don't want to be, so that would help me out because I'll be in town the following week. So that would be the 24th? Is that okay in your motion? Or did you make a motion?
The fourth?
Fourth Monday, yeah. So the fourth Monday is the 24th.
The only thing about it is Clinton City Council is live on ACTV.
But they're at 5 and they're usually done.
Yeah. Okay, well, 24th
I
is
was-
fine.
We'll let Roger say, I'll be done by 5:30. But yeah, I guess that was the only thing I forgot. They're both
Yeah.
on ACTV.
Okay, so we need to amend the motion to change that to the fourth Monday instead of that Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we got a second on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Annette, have you got those changes?
The second was Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Strategic planning update, Commissioner Foster.
Yes, I would like to go ahead and schedule the meeting for the 7th of February, if that's okay with everybody from this board. We got some feedback. Most people, I haven't heard back from everybody, but just for time constraints purposes, I think January is going to be hard to get a date scheduled. And the other thing, Mayor, I was going to ask you if we could do it at the senior center in one of their rooms, if that's possible. So, with that, can you check on that? And we don't have to set a location yet, but just if we could do February 7th, that's that Friday. And if you can't do that day, please let us know. And that goes for Budget Committee too. And I'll bring it up at full commission with that date.
Just as long as we have room for the public.
Yeah, and we'll put it, public.
Yeah.
Is welcome to come and we'll do our normal.
Will that be in the morning time or evening?
We start in the morning.
Morning, okay.
Usually we started, I think, 8:30 and went till about 4.
I think it was 8 to 4 last time.
Okay. Yeah, well, can we do 8:30? We'll do 8:30 this time because I do think,
8:30
yeah,
to 4.
4.
And no Saturday, just Friday?
This is a one day, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Last time we did a Thursday, Friday because it was kind of the first one and this
Yeah.
one, I think. Still got to iron out some things, but just want to go ahead and kind of set that date if everybody's good with that.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, did you get the maker of the motion, the second?
No.
I'll make the motion that we do it on the 7th
Okay.
before the full commission. I will second that. He's like, I don't care.
So we got a second by Commissioner Anderson.
Questionable second at the best.
All right, all in favor say aye.
At best, it's a questionable second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Okay, unfinished business. We have any unfinished business come before this committee?
I'd like an update from the mayor on our architect that's talking about water.
They asked me at the beginning of the meeting, so I don't have a estimate yet from Robert Campbell, but I did read the committee a letter from the Water Authority that they could not own. So the idea of the well system, it said Mr. Clower said the authority is committed to working with the county to extend water lines to bring high-quality, safe water to households that are in need of the service. With that said, the authority cannot own, operate, or maintain any type of private residential water treatment systems. Furthermore, if plans developed to fund a water line extension there will be water quality issues due to the length of the lines that would need to be installed and only 2 customers using it. So I guess it's still a matter of the number of folks that would be put on the line. But anyhow, I'm still working to get a quote from Mr. Campbell.
Okay.
I noticed, I heard you say this earlier, but what constitutes this as a private owned? Where's that coming in?
So I don't have that information with me this month, but the Everclear, was it Everclear or the folks that Robbie and Randy and Robert Campbell and that met with Mr. Phillips and went to look at the one church?
Okay, yeah.
It's still considered, I mean, it's a treatment system, so it's still considered private. You have to have somebody to maintain it. And so that was the question that was asked when they were on site, who would be maintaining it? So what I reached out to ask the Water Authority is, would you be able to maintain that? Because that's a requirement. They can't just install it and walk away. It has to have somebody maintain it. And so the Water Authority is saying they can't do that.
Okay, thank you.
But if we gave it to the water authority, then they could maintain their own, you know.
I guess that would be a legal question for the authority, like if they would be willing to accept ownership of that.
Yeah.
I can ask that.
That's what, I think that's where we need to go. I mean, I agree that, you know, they wouldn't want a private company and them have to maintain it for that company, but my thinking is that they would own it and it'd be part of the Anderson County Water Authority.
Do we need a motion on that? Or
Well,
just a-
she's working with the architects and until they
Yeah.
come up with something, there's really no action we can take.
Okay.
But
And I wrote down the question. I also have reached out about going to the next ACWA meeting as well, so.
Okay.
I'll
let me
do
know
that.
when, and I'll go with you.
Okay. I apologize about my voice tonight and the candies here.
You know, you're here.
It
and
just
that's
won't go
never-
away.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Any other unfinished business? Any new business? Anybody out there got anything? We covered a lot of stuff in a record amount of time.
I did want to say, with Representative Butler, remember I talked about the GPS?
Yeah.
I sent that information to his office,
Okay,
so
Great.
just to let you all know that.
all right. They've got the signs up. So, and I haven't heard much from some things, you know, from the community, you know, where trucks are still going on there, but now it's up to, you know, the highway patrol to start enforcing it. So, have you heard anything, Jimmy, about the trucks on 116? Now, usually they don't come from your side coming over because they ain't gonna make it. But, you know, they come through Frost Bottom. But, all right, with nothing else come from this committee, call it adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.